This is Kathy Knipfer, instructor for Nursing 2333, recording the Managing Nursing Care lecture for Chapter 6, Making Decisions and Problem Solving. Decision making is a purposeful and goal-directed effort using a systematic process to choose among options. Not all decisions begin with problems. Before a problem is presented, we often have multiple choices for actions available to us. For example, a nurse leader might engage a group in making decisions about how future nursing care should be delivered. No problem needs to be solved there. These are merely opportunities to think creatively. Problem solving is a decision-making step in which you make a choice that takes you from what currently is to the best available option. It basically involves names. Problems include staffing shortages, insufficient supplies, too many assistive personnel, and so forth. Problems are immediate choices to be made, and they are usually based on closing the gap between the reality and the desired. Although one way to solve a problem is to reframe the desired, usually the real choice is to alter the current reality to better approximate what the desired state should be. Critical thinking is a mode of thinking about any subject, content, or problem in which the thinker improves the quality of his or her thinking by skillfully analyzing, assessing, and reconstructing it. It interweaves and links decision making, problem solving, professional judgment, and creativity. Creativity involves conceptualizing new and innovative approaches to a problem or issue by employing flexible and independent thinking. Decisions are of two types and based on two models. The first type is known as satisficing. This is when good enough is the right answer. For example, if two products are essentially the same and one is more expensive because of some extra dials and knobs that aren't essential to quality care, a satisficing decision would be appropriate. On the other hand, if you are hiring a new evening staff person and this person has to perform at a high level of quality, the decisions for shaping the advertisements, the recruitment plan, and the interview process need to be optimized because you want the best possible person. Now let's look at decision-making styles. The paternalistic style is where managers decide what is best for their team. The informative style offers the staff the ability to make a decision after the information has been shared. And then there's shared decision making. This is where decisions are made through an interactive, deliberate process where the staff may express and discuss options and preferences. An autocratic decision is one in which an individual decides and announces the decision. Although this may have to happen in some situations because of the confidentiality of information, it is usually not as effective as a democratic style. Democratic styles require group input. Although a decision may look attractive from one perspective, it may be a nightmare for another. The value of having multiple views is that the decision usually fits more people's abilities and needs than if someone decides alone. There are a number of strategies for group decision making. There's brainstorming, where ideas are listed as stated without any critique or discussion. The group would build upon suggested ideas. The focus is on volume of ideas and not necessarily quality. The group should be allowed to decide on the rules of the discussion. Then there's the nominal group techniques, where individuals write down their own ideas of solving a specific problem without discussion. Then they take turns sharing and discuss the merits, and individuals prioritize. so they use the decision with the highest ranking. Focus groups help to explore issues and generate information. The Delphi technique collect and summarize opinions or judgments on an issue. They refine responses, communicate with participants on findings. The participants can then change their views, but the goal is to arrive at a consensus. Next, we'll look at decision-making tools. There are decision grids listed in your textbook. You can look on page 109. They help to visualize the options that are being considered, and you can evaluate the options based on common criteria. SWOT, also on page 109, helps to analyze strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Some of the criteria that may be used when using the decision grids are things like time required, ethical or legal considerations, equipment needs and costs. And then the relative advantages and disadvantages should be listed for each option. A SWOT analysis is commonly used in strategic planning or marketing efforts, but it can also be used by individuals and groups in decision making. Group decision making. When decisions are made as a group, higher quality decisions are more likely to result. When team members are included in the process, they tend to function more productively and take ownership of the process change. Consensus involves agreement. Groups are more committed to an idea if it's achieved by consensus. Consensus requires that all participants agree to go along with the final decision. Consensus does not mean that the final decision will be all participants' first choice. Therefore, it is imperative to ask all participants if they can live with the decision. Here is a quote often attributed to Albert Einstein about problem solving. If I were given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes defining the problem and 1 minute resolving it. There are several key questions that should be asked when solving a problem. The first one, is it important? Then, do I own the problem? Do I want to do something about it? Am I qualified to handle it? Do I have the authority to do anything? Do I have the knowledge, interest, time, and resources to deal with it? Other additional key problem-solving questions include, can I delegate it? What are the benefits of solving the problem? Answering those key questions in the previous two slides can simplify some decisions. If the answer to the first 5 questions is no, you have to decide what to do next. Maybe you won't go any further. Let's go over the problem-solving process. You can refer to page 111. First, you should establish the need for a solution. So what is the basic need? What is the desired outcome? Who stands to benefit and why? You also want to justify the need. Is the effort aligned with the strategy? What are the desired benefits? How will we ensure the solution is implemented? We also want to contextualize the problem. What approaches have we tried? What have others tried? What are the external and internal constraints? And then you write the problem statement. When you write the problem statement, you should ask the following questions. Is the problem actually many problems? What requirements must the solution meet? Which problem solvers should we engage? What do solvers need to submit? How will solutions be evaluated and success be measured? We must use data to make sound decisions. This includes objective and subjective data. The data should be accurate, relevant, valid, and timely. Let's summarize the problem-solving process. First, we identify the problem and gather and analyze data. We develop possible solutions. We must be flexible, open-minded, and creative. We select a solution. We select the one that is most feasible and satisfactory and has the fewest undesirable consequences. We implement the solution using a defined strategy, possibly in phases, and we have a plan B if the solution is not working. We then evaluate the results. We decide during planning who will evaluate and how evaluation will occur. Here are some tips for decision making and problem solving. We would seek additional information. We would learn how others approach the problems. We would observe positive role models in action. We can research journal articles to expand our knowledge base. We would risk using new approaches to problem resolution through experimentation and calculate the risks to self and others. In conclusion, making decisions and solving problems are not the same processes. However, both involve critical and creative thinking, and they're focused on answers that are either the best possible or good enough for the question under consideration.